being able to have the option to find a capital partner, well, I guess you didn't find, they found you more serendipitously, but what you had done to lead up to something like that is you built a great business, attractive business that was profitable, that served you and your partner, but you presented an opportunity and be in the position to accept that opportunity is, basically what you built up to that point. And to take a little bit of money off the top and, allow the company to kind of grow more organically. And also, like you said, it would have been a gamble because to 3X the company, which would be the expectation in 2020 and 2021, those channels might break, and or you'd have to add new channels that are unproven and throw a bunch of money at them, and you'd be expected to grow at all cost, and potentially, like you said, losing the company or losing more control or taking more dilution in future rounds. And this created a very positive outcome for you. And I think more founders need to listen to stories like this of focusing on building a great business that gives you options and not being solely dependent on raising venture capital. And ironically enough, like, more venture capital comes your way if you build a business like you did. You get sought out and create more opportunities that way.
And that was the thing, right? So like the 4 steps we did to bootstrap, like I said, hone in on the ICP, talk to your customers, offer a service manually, figure out the manual workflow, and then exactly what do I automate, eliminate, delegate, meaning if you're manually collecting data, there's APIs, pull it automatically, then normalize that data, then apply workflow. But in parallel to doing those things, build a community around your audience. Like, you may have a very niche ICP or whatever your ICP is, hone in on that and bring them together. When people are buying your product or listening to what you have to say, you have an audience, right? When you bring that audience together, it becomes a community. When that community comes together to create some impact, like Basecamp did with Ruby on Rails, or like GitLab does, or even Harley Davidson's community. Look at every major community when they come together to do social good or to create some impact, it becomes a movement. And when that movement has undying faith in its purpose, it becomes a cult or a religion, right? From Christianity to CrossFit, that is the journey of going from obscure to iconic. But the point I'm trying to make there is, if you don't build a community around your ICP in parallel, then you are relying on, I guess, happenstance for people to hear about you. You got to engineer your own network, right? And so when you do that, people will hear and see you, word of mouth will spread, and that becomes a very low cost effective channel. Like VCs will come to your events, VC will engage with your community, and so on.
Yeah, and being able to do that is, something that I feel stands out as unique and credible to what you guys have done and creates this opportunity for you. And kind of something that we didn't get a chance to dive into just yet, because you raised that round. It's presented as like a traditional Series A, but it was kind of like a secondary for you guys. You guys get some money off the table, the company gets some balance sheet capital to go grow and do what it's got to do. But you also raised a substantial debt warehouse of $100 million. What was the strategy behind that? Was it the same investors? Kind of walk us through how that came about as an opportunity, and how did you go about getting it?
Incidentally, we met the debt provider also through our community, right? See, this is the thing. This is the value. When this is a framework I want to talk about, and maybe there is some learning here. When you figure out an underserved niche and identify their pain points, you figure out where they eat, breathe, drink, sleep, what are their aspirations and goals. When you understand the problem, right? They always say, fall in love with the problem, not the solution you're offering. If you fall in love with the problem of your customer, your vision becomes a lot bigger. So our vision wasn't automate tax sweaters. Our vision was to enable innovators to change the world. Why? Because every dollar spent in innovation returns 20 to the universe. Vaccines, robots, clean drinking water is a function of innovation. Yet in the last 20 years, more than 50% of the Fortune 500 companies have evaporated because they can't innovate. And so our goal was bring you the funding and the know-how to innovate faster. So R&D innovation, right? Funding the R&D starts with R&D credits, but it takes a long time to get that money. So how do I front load you the cash so you're not waiting for that money? And then the next product, we're collecting your interesting R&D data, and we also have your financial data because we're lending you money. Now I can pull interesting insights and tell you what projects you should invest in, who you should hire, etc. So basically AI-driven engineering productivity and engineering investments, right? So I think following the journey of the customer outcome, right? Customers want an outcome. They don't want software. They're looking for R&D money to drive some business outcome. If you follow that that outcome they're looking for, I think you can come up with good product solutions. So that's what it was. It's like customers like taking a long time to get the money from the government. How can we give you the money? Now, through our processes and the technology, customers like the applications we're putting in were like 99% accuracy. So it's like basically a government-backed security. So getting money to lend against that was an easy thing. And then we met a friend through this traction community, became good friends, and she's like, hey, we'll put together a warehouse facility and help you lend to these companies. So it became a win-win because a good outcome for the customer. They're not waiting long. And it's a good outcome for us because it gives us a little more spread, right? It improves our NRR. And now, overall, though, it's good for us and the customer because before we were collecting R&D data and payroll data and some bookkeeping data because whatever we need to learn about the business's R&D, money spent on contractors, supplies, and payroll. But now we're like, hey, I got to underwrite you. So I also need to know if you're financially stable. So I have your banking data and I have all your books, not just what you spend on R&D. So now I know what financial outcome your R&D is driving, right? Traditionally, R&D has been considered a black box. Like sales does something, you know the outcome. So now how do you tie R&D to outcomes is a conversation in board meetings that we can break with the next set of products that Boast will build.